Hi, this is Cindy with the Port Huron Recreation Department. This is part 2 of your Watercolors with Cindy class, and we're going to go through some more techniques today, and then on the last day we will be following it up with a collage that'll put it all together. Here we go. There. Okay, we're going to pick off a little bit of where we left off last time. You can see this in here. We've got the glue resist that we did last time. It's dried now, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on putting some color into it. I'm going to adjust the screen just a hair so hopefully you can see it good. Okay, get my brush out, and we're going to kind of just lay over the color like we did down here. I'm going to put some reds in here this time probably. I'll start with the blue. I'm just dragging the brush through this. That's all I want to do. I don't want to push it down really hard because that'll just make it all cakey, and it's hard to work with when you do something like that. So I'm just gonna kind of just brush this stuff in. Add a little water. Got my water bowl. I'm gonna let it touch here a little bit. Drag it through. You can see where it's resisting now, just like the crayon did down there below. I'm just trying to pull that out for you so you can see. All right. Wipe off the brush. Rinse it. Dry. Or if you want to keep it wet, you could do that. I'm gonna get a little green in here. Have it mix in while it's still wet. You can see how the water's kind of, or the colors kind of go together. I'm gonna add the wet here over on this side and around the top, just because I want it to go all the way over. I'll add in some more green. See how that blends in pretty smooth when it's already wet. Wet on wet. And it's kind of a hot day out here today, so it's gonna dry a little quicker than usual. Grab a little bit of, and I'll do some purple up here. I'm gonna have kind of a blunt line right here because that's gonna dry on me. Try to soften it up a little bit by adding a little water there. Kind of add it all around. Add in the yellows, just a little. I don't have a specific pattern just because this is all practice on technique. There's a little red. When you add the red in there, it's going to turn it a little purple. That is pretty saturated up there, so that's going to happen with certain kinds of paper. If you have a thicker paper, it usually doesn't happen. It's a thicker water paper that you would use. This is good for our purposes of learning. When you're a student, you kind of use what you've got and then just keep going from there. You move up as you get more experience on the different kinds of product that you use. If you've already got your own brushes that you'd rather use, feel welcome to do that. I I encourage that. Whatever level you're at right now, this is for all ages, so kind of keeping it low key, but just give samples of all the different kinds of techniques. We'll do red next to this, or blue, sorry, next to this red, just because blue and red go better together than, say, red and green, because red and green would make a brownish color when you mix them together. Make it look a little muddy. You don't really want muddy because this is supposed to be more of a fun, uplifting kind of a design. Just put the water on there pretty liberally. The paper will buckle up a little bit, but it'll dry out. When you glue it down, it'll be fine. It'll actually add more dimension. A little green over here. I'm going to add a little more yellow. Just get that in there. I like it when the colors kind of blend together. Do the outside edge over here a little wet, so that way the next color that you bring in will merge into that. We'll go back to some green, and then probably back to some blue, maybe add a little bit of red. Ooh, little red. A little red over here. Kind of, don't be afraid to pounce it a little bit. That'll kind of get some colors going together too. Yeah, this will probably just overlay because it's a little thicker, but you can kind of see how that might turn a little brown with that red. In there. Red and the blue will blend together to make their purple. Get this purple in here some too. So you can see how the resist is working there. The white that's shining through is actually the resisted part from the glue. It just does not absorb the paint down beneath. Check and make sure you got all your spots that you wanted to get. Hit that with a little yellow. Yeah. See how that's all kind of going together now. Green in there. And then if you wanted to later, you could go over this. Again, I'd just say do it with less water, so you have more bolds going on top of it. The other thing you could do is put some spray over it, like you did with the toothbrush, and kind of spray on it so it had a little flecks in it. You can kind of go nuts and experiment all day long, as long as you've got the materials. So I'm going to show you one more thing really quick. Set that aside. I put a little bit of glue on here down below. This is going to be a resist on scrapbook paper. Kind of a weird thing, but I'm going to do it pretty light, but you're going to see how it's kind of resisting. Might be a little harder today because of the heat, but let's see. Yeah, you can see it a little bit right here, where you can see the pattern coming through a little more. see if I can get this. And then if I let this sit in for a second, maybe pick it up with the paper towel, you can see where it's resisted. You see that little spot, that area right there? It's coming through a little bit right there. So you can do this kind of technique too. See, it's kind of backing it off, and then it's allowing more of the background in there to be shown. You could actually use this little piece of paper right there for a whole another kind of a texture in your art. I'll set that guy aside. It's going to dry pretty quick. Next, pull out one of your regular mixed media art papers, and we're going to start with the salt technique. I might try this a little different than I normally do, but I'm going to start by getting the paper wet, and just like this. If you have a sprayer at home, that works really good too. So I'm just going to get it really nice and wet. Then take the paints and add some colors to there. Just kind of like I pounced before, I'm going to just kind of do that all over too. Gonna pick up some purple. This you can kind of get away with mixing the colors, because what we want is them to kind of blend together. If it feels like it's drying out too quick, add a little bit of water, but not too much. I'm just trying to keep this guy wet for you. Let's do red. So this is really wet. Now I'm just going to kind of etch in a little bit where I did the reds. Color that in just to spread it around a little. Colors are going to kind of mix together on their own. This is a really wet on wet project here, so don't worry if your paper starts wrinkling up. That's gonna happen, and that's okay. Okay, so we worked on the reds. We're gonna work on the purples. They're a little faded already, so oh, I got the blue. That's all right. All right, really. Add a little more purple in here. Let's see. Right on top of everything. Kind of a free-for-all on this one. Really can't go wrong. All right. So just kind of mix them in. I will add a little blue in here. See, the red, the blue, and the purple, they all kind of go together, because purple will be what actually you would blend the blue and the red for to get purple. I said that right. I think you get the idea. You can kind of see it happening when I put the blue and the red together. So. Okay, there's that. I'm going to give it one final squirt with my brush. Just keep it all wet until we have time to put the salt on here. So we're just going to sprinkle some salt right on here. See how that's all blending together? courtesy of McDonald's here. If you had a hard time finding salt, that's one spot you can find it. So I'm sprinkling the salt on it, and the salt will start drying, absorbing the paint and kind of concentrating it in its own little spots. You can already see that happening. The little dots with the little white spot inside where you can see the paper. So we'll set this guy aside. Looking good. Alright, next we've got a marbling technique. Grab another mixed media art paper. Clean up your station. Maybe you've got salt on there a little bit. Clean that up with your paper towels. Paper towels are like the best thing for all this. For all this painting business and all this craftiness that we're doing. Still salt. Okay. Come on, salt. Get out there. That's alright. There's a little bit. That's okay. So this marbling technique's going to be about the same. I'll do some different colors this time. You're going to use your Saran wrap. I have this sticky stuff that I've never used before for this, so we'll see what happens. I mean, this might even work better for me, especially being outside if there's a little wind. Laying it out flat. I'm going to take this out of here for now. Set it aside. Alright, so basically we're going to work right on top of the cellophane. Spraying it. This will probably stay wet a lot longer than the paper, doing it directly on the paper. So when we do this, we're going to do just a half a sheet again. And I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll just go back to the other paper we just had to do it. So let's do some lighter colors. Do some yellow. So you're just kind of leave a little spots, leave a little air open there, because you're going to come back in with another color. And I'll make that color green. Remember, the green and yellow will make a nice lighter green, so if you mix a little bit in, you can have kind of a spring green color. If you just want to keep some of the green as is, or some of the yellow, you could do that too. But you can see a little bit of this green right down there. And then, let's see. I'm thinking some, how about some orange? I'll try orange in there. Got to keep it kind of closer to the yellow so that it actually goes with the yellow a little better than mixing with the green, because if it mixes in with green, it'll end up being a little brown too. Oops, I got the wrong color. Darn. Alright, so we got a little more yellow. Alright, orange was what I was after. Kind of muddied up my yellow, but they're close enough colors so it shouldn't be too bad. See how it kind of separates on here? This actually has a little bit of texture, so it's kind of interesting. I'm using the non-sticky side of the cling wrap. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this piece that I started with the salt. It's pretty much almost dry actually. And I'm going to even cover it up just so it doesn't take on anything else or leave anything anywhere else. Just put that on there, turn it right over, and the top of the page will be facing your cling wrap. You're going to push down and kind of move it around. That's it. Kind of interesting way to do watercolors. Let's see what happens here now. Alright, see how that kind of turned into that? I'm going to put it back down. Actually, no. I'm going to spray this a little more. I'm hoping to get a little more of an interaction between some more of these colors. So we'll spray it. And I could add some more color to it. We'll go for some more yellow, since that's yellow-orange already. And get, oh, hello wind. Get that in there. All right, let's see what happens there. Spray it one more time for good measure. Extra water. It is summertime. Water's great. Cover up your paper, turn it over, uncurl it if it's curled, and push it down, smooth it out. Just try not to get your hands in it because there may be some on the outside like there is here. It's not too big of a deal. That's the back of the paper, and hey, we might want to do something else on the other side too. It won't matter. There, that's a lot better. See how those colors are going together? Kind of looks like a flowery meadow to me. So that could be used in the butterfly one. There's two techniques right there. You got the salt and you've got the cellophane, kind of a marbleized technique. And with the cellophane, this different kind of cellophane, it makes it kind of with the little spots, because there's little spots on my cellophane. Okay, we'll put that guy aside. Fold this up on itself. That way all the mess is contained. And I kind of like the sticky one. Now it's all just one piece stuck together. Okay. So I did have one more funny one to do. Another idea. So we've got a piece of paper towel. We've been kind of doing this. We've been doing this but not knowing it. We got our paper towel wet. We use our brush on it to dry, clean, all that, change colors. And when that towel's all done, it kind of gets colorful and we don't even realize it. So, to demonstrate, kind of like what's going on here, how those colors are all kind of looking good together. We can do that ourselves by just putting drops in intentionally now. See how that's spreading on the wet paper? You can add more water with your brush now too. Kind of gives a fuzzy kind of look. And then it'll blend the stuff that's right next to it. It's going to look pretty neat. So let's just keep going and see what we end up with. May need to spray in here just because it's a little hot out. Get more water on there so it can blend. You get your you get your palette kind of full with water, like this has a lot of water to it, it'll dry. Just let it go. Don't want to put too much pressure and anything on this because it is paper towel. Although it is pretty strong, it might not want to bend for you in a little bit if you've done too much to it. So just kind of keep an eye on it, that's all. Add some water so that blends out. You can kind of pull the color out a little bit by starting from the edge and tapping out. Okay. Hey, we might as well go the full gamut on this one because it's pretty colorful. So when you guys are doing this, you might want to think about posting some of your pictures to our Facebook page and let us know how you're doing. Be kind of interesting to see and see what everybody's come up with. I know we've got all different kinds of views. Make a little flower kind of here. Just tapping with the end of the brush. Pulling the color out. Kind of see a daisy coming through on some of these. Alright. A little bit of red over here. Okay, I'm going to go to orange now. Kind of. Just adding some color all around. It's random. Don't have to be perfect. This is kind of what an artist does anyway. They do all these experiments and then they find something that they really like and then they repeat it. Did you see how that kind of looked like it splashed right out of there? That's pretty cool how that color travels. You just add more water to it if you want to soften it up. This I kind of kept a little lighter. So here's my final. I kind of like it. It will probably spread out again a little bit more, and that's okay. I kind of would like it to, so hey, add more water. And then we'll set this aside to dry. See what happened to it when we put this collage all together. You can see that things are moving around here. Looks good. Probably going to want to clean off your table by now. At least wipe it down, get all that paint off of the back. Well, where the back of your paper would be. So that'll do it for today. We've got about 3 different techniques. We did the paper towel, we did the salt, and we did the cellophane, and then we finished our glue, and that is our glue resist right here. So you can see we've got a few different kinds of textures going on to finally put this all together. And if you still want to use something like this, I kind of like how that looks a little grungy. That's kind of a popular thing now. So thanks again for joining me, and we'll look forward to seeing you again on the next episode, part 3. Please like us, add comments, look us up on Facebook, and visit our website. Look at the comments, they're under the description down below. Have a great day.